Howdy doody, tutti fruities. Just playing, calm down, all right? Speaking of calm down, Theo's been ripping around this morning. He done worn himself out. Today, we are back on a little shop fixing action. Now, y'all know when we first moved in here, we built a loft, we did walls, paint, all kinds of stuff, and it took a good part of our time. And you also know we've been adding on the other side over the last year since we've moved, finally moved out here. But funny enough, this right here was the original only add-on plan. It's the only thing we actually planned on doing, which is why I had this concrete poured going over here. And now I didn't plan on adding heat and air at whatever point, but here we are. So now this awning obviously is gonna house our couple units here. But also, I've been waiting on this awning to get done where we could finally get our big mama compressor here going. Now the old E450 big yellow unit here, I bought that thing, I think over 2 years ago. And I had it stored in the shop from when I first bought this place. And then since we moved in there, it's been stored out here. We need it, and we need her bad. Our inside little compressor we've been working off of, she released her final pumps, okay? She's donezo. She breathes no more. Oh man, what happened here? How did that hood get so KO'd? It used to not be that bad. Didn't think it was that bad. Thing's in bad shape. So y'all know it's hard to do any type of shop work without having your compressed air. You'll get in a situation where you need it and then you ain't got it, and that ain't no good for nobody. So our electrician buddies are back. They're gonna look at running a heavier wire for that thing because it's got a warning on it saying to run some heavy gauge wire to it. And since they were out, they're gonna look at maybe doing some, my buddy Cal owns that company. He said he would like to just do some of the lighting underneath our awnings and stuff. So I think they're gonna be working here. So I figure if they're gonna be here working on the shop, upgrading it, we could do what we need to do as well. Because now that this is done, y'all can see over here, we've got piles of wheels and tires and all the metal and just that ugliness. To build the awning, all this ugliness had to come out from underneath here. So I just figure it'd be a good time to sort out some of the ugliness. So with all that being said, as they get to running that wire, they'll be having to run it through the shop or whatever they're about to get into. I think we're going to start building some metal racks. I'm going to build some racks we can house underneath here to get all that metal off our carts over there. I ought to build our dang racks on these carts where we can stack it up and still move that sucker if need be. Here we go, changing plans, and we ain't even started yet. As we've been adding our awnings and onto our shop, our odds and ends of metal, I've been collecting it, which is what we got right here. So we've got a lot of 4x4, not necessarily the longest pieces, but we can butt them together or whatever. We got some C-purlin here, and I ain't really quite sure how we're building this exactly yet, but I'm gonna start huffing some of this inside and we'll use it to build our racks with. See how strong we're feeling this morning. Ooh, see how heavy this stuff is. We will see if we can happen to find two the same length, because then we don't got to cut it. Close enough. So this piece here and this one down there, they're within about 3/8 of an inch of each other. So we can use them to be our bases. Yeah! That's one long piece there. Yeah, it is. That's a big one. So we could probably cut it in half to build our uprights. Maybe. Dang, find us some good quality 4x4. Solid. Hello. Yep. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Jeez. Almost scratched the paint on the old fire turd. A little over 12 foot. That'd give us racks right at 6 foot and some change tall. If we go on top of that, you don't want to go much taller than that anyways, because you can't. That's perfect. 150 3/4. So half of 150 is 75, and half of 3/4 should be 3/8. So right there we got 75 and 3/8. When I'm dividing fractions and or decimals or whatever, I like to double check. So I'll measure down from that end and come this way, and sure enough, within a 32nd, she's kind of a fat line, so we'll just favor this side of here. What is it, Theo? What is it, boy? Did little Mortsky fall in the well? He probably can't swim, can he? Well, Theo can swim. That's why he's got his sharks on. He's a spoiled dog. We can't go nowhere. Girls got to pick him out something new. They shop for him like they're them. Yeah! Let's fire up the old evolution. The question here is gonna be, can she fit 4x4? Y'all get too noisy out there? Yeah! Yeah! Woo! That's about just right. Gonna hit some full form. Oh! Yeah! Yeah! Better not wear ourselves out. Like a good woman, you know, lock it down. Now before we cut this, let's think ahead here. This is about to fall everywhere, ain't it? Let's try to be smarter where we ain't got to work harder. Yeah! Pull that down that way. Now we're firing on all cylinders. Y'all noticed I cleaned off my toolbox and this baby and coated her again. Now we can set that there, hardly any drop. And with that there, we'll have hardly any plop. I did spray some looby dooby on this, but I forgot Sweet Patina sent me this. Woo! Ain't nobody's messing with the Sweet Patina when it comes to how good a product smells. This right here is the best smelling looby dooby I ever have smelt my whole entire life. I gotta try that stuff out because we may be working on some limited edition looby dooby together. And once again, the evolution saw just amazes me as we slice through that stuff like absolute butter. Once you cut that, you want to pick up that piece, swing it over to match them up. And when you do that, be sure to throw all the dirt out on your floor. That way you get a nice messy shop. With those ends matched up, this down here reveals how much their chop saw is out of square, because that edge to that would probably match up good, but y'all can see that one's feeding back at an angle. And we want her a little more square than that, so we're just gonna measure it and cut that ourselves. We may be able to get away with just doing 75 inch on the dot. There, that line really shows how much we're tapering on that piece. Now with those matched up, man, that thing is accurate. Blows my mind every time. I'll never get old of that. Just as precise can be. And up here you can see they're using the old stuff to pull out the new stuff. You think that's gonna be thick enough? Oh, yeah. Power a small community out there on the backside or what?
Yeah, it's good for 100 amps.
If that compressor starts pulling 100 amps, we got bigger problems. Right. Something's gonna be on fire. Yeah, so it's kind of wild because we were talking about that. I want to have them run that big stuff just for peace of mind. And some of you people who are electricians, I'm gonna get y'all speaking on in the comments on why this is required, because I'll show you what I mean here. Wiring installation warning. 7.5 horsepower. Use only number 6 when running 50 foot or less. Use number 4 when over 50 foot. Failure to do so will cause capacitor and motor failure, thus voiding your warranty. Now in here you can see through our contactor here, they're using some, I don't know, probably like number 6-ish wiring feeding. Good size stuff. But over here, when you look for your information, full load run amps, only 35 / 34.5. So that's kind of confusing because like they said, this stuff can handle, what's the number 4 rated, like 95 amps, almost 100 amps. But then that says full load, 35 amps. So why would you need wire into it that's rated at 3 times basically what it's going to be pulling? I don't know. It don't make sense in my head. You also don't want to oversize your breaker, right? You don't want to throw like some huge breaker on there where something does short out, it don't pop. Your breaker's there to protect your wire. So if you're going to run a smaller breaker, then why does, you know what I mean? It don't all add up into in my head, nor the electricians, of why it would want such big wiring. So nonetheless, we're going to put it on there because that's what it calls for on the warning. And we're just going to go with the manufacturer's recommendations. My guess would be they had a lot of people burning up stuff by running way too small stuff to it, probably over long stretches and everything, and they were tired of replacing compressors because of warranty of people undersizing it. So they go, we're going to make sure they oversize it. I don't know. What do y'all think? I told them I'd like to, once we get it all hooked up, I'd like to just pull amp draw on it and see, you know, even on ramp up, how much is it pulling? Because you know, they explained to me that your breakers are even rated to actually pull more for ramp up purposes, the way breakers are made. So I don't know. We're running the big stuff. We're going to pull amp. We're going to test amp draw on it whenever it fires up, and we'll just see where it's at. But we kind of got a trough back there for wires to run down to our panel, so you can feed up through there, run along the trough, then drop down. So it's really not a big deal to swap out to the bigger stuff. So we'll see. I think these pieces, I knew I said they were close and we wouldn't have to do nothing. I think I'm gonna cut them down to even 4 foot. But up there, mark across there, slice them. Uh-oh, we don't need another supervisor out here. That's going to be our basic T shape. I think we're going to separate one out. We may add another one. I don't know. 4 foot, because I do have some stuff that's around 5 foot long. If you go 4 foot, something sturdy enough, that'll carry out to 8 foot. You could go, yeah, 2 foot out past each end. That should be good. So thinking about how to divide it, and then the arms, thinking about how I want to do them. Probably do the arms out of C-purlin, only coming out about 1 foot or so. Got plenty of this stuff to use up. I like it. Bang! Real short piece here. Yeah. 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 And then we got some of this left over. It's like about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. That can be our stubs to keep stuff from rolling off, I think. For a bigger 4-inch C-purlin here, we're going to do 40 inches. We'll need 2 of them. If you think that thing can go through that 4x4, you should see it going through this stuff. Whew! Like butter. And I just did some rough kind of firing from the hip ballpark figure in here. So we've got a 4-inch base. We can actually set some material on that if we want. So then we'll probably come up from down there. Right here we'll do our 4-inch piece. And then from the top of that we'll go up about 1 foot, then another foot. Then from there I think I went like 10 or 11 inches. And then we'll do a piece across the top. That'll give us variety on sizes and stuff like that. Obviously what we're gonna put up towards the top will probably be lighter pieces of stuff, so it can have a little smaller gappage to be able to finagle in. So we got our 4-inch. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of 3 inches what we need. Luckily this piece is about 47 miles long. I did measure from our table to the top of them ridges where our material sat earlier, and I went ahead and cut me a piece. That's the exact height. That way we're good across our table now. Turned into a full-blown production shop here. I think I just cut like 20 of them little nubbies. One nubby. And I finished cutting these little slats. I didn't figure you want to watch me cut 1,000 of them. 2 things to point out so far. One, this takes a little bit of time, but if we were doing this with a cutoff wheel, a bandsaw, or any other source of cutting this, I don't think we'd be near as far ahead as what we are. I'm not sponsored by these people, but if you like doing accurate cutting efficiently, I'm just going to tell y'all this thing right here is an absolute game changer. Every time I use it, y'all hear me speak highly of it because it's awesome. Then 2, Sweet Patina sure knows how to hook me with his products, because this stuff right here, every time I spray it, takes me back to high school. It's got a hint of cherry to it. And I used to have them cherry air fresheners in my old 77 Hilux. It was lower down, rattle can white on some wide wagon wheels. They're about 10-inch wide, and I said the truck was white. Really, it was Oklahoma red dirt red, because I slid them back roads because it topped out at 47 miles per hour and I couldn't go on the highway. But that's a whole nother story. All right, let's see what the little scientist here has going on. She's over here smashing rocks looking for fossils.
I haven't found one yet.
Ain't found none yet.
And it did this little layer thing.
Ooh, let's see what you got right there.
And then I found another circle and it has like sparkles in it.
Very cool.
This is where the second one I found. It was underneath the car. It's right there. Can you see it? Here, let me get it.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Crawl up underneath there. If you're gonna be a scientist, you gotta be brave, girl. Here you go. Let's see. Oh yeah, that one's broke already.
There's a lot underneath cars.
And luckily for her, there's a lot of cars to choose from out here. These little pieces, I just went 2-inch, just enough to sit on top to keep stuff from rolling off, like I said. You always want to take your chips and sweep them along your table full of holes. Guaranteed to get them all picked up to your bucket. I don't know what's going on out here, but I just seen a skid steer go by, so I guess they brought that baby out. They said they could move it to between the AC units for me. We getting serious out here or what?
About to, man.
We need to put a box on the back of that skid steer. Hey, you got a 14-year-old driving? We may have to move some crap for these guys. That's gonna be a tight fit, ain't it? I think so. We got that big stuff ran out here. I'm gonna start a trailer park out here now. How did that hood get so KO'd? It used to not be that bad. Someone's got a lot of real white metal just laying everywhere, you know. If someone would build some racks and get that crap picked up, we wouldn't have this problem. I think it'd be all right though. Performing surgery over here.
There you go. You're getting there.
We should move this before the awning was built, then we would have these poles in our way, you know? But let's not do stuff in a sequence that would make sense around here. Woo, they got her out. I told them I think if they go out, whip her around, back in, then stab it from this side, because that pole's favoring that unit, so we got a little more room over here. The little shell's breaking loose on them. They're doing a little spinning. Hey, if he hits that metal and it falls, it's all right. Let's go for an aerial shot. Yeah. Told y'all we had a supervisor. We're pretty close right there. I wonder if we can heave-ho that straight back.
Is it gonna do that?
I don't know.
When it runs?
Some people say not to lag them, to leave them on the pallet, but here we are.
Yeah.
I think leave it like that. Let's see how smooth it is. If it tries to walk, I may lag that pallet to the concrete.
Yeah.
Then I'll just keep an eye on it and we'll see how it does over the...
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That thing is heavy. All four of us was having a hard time even just kind of dog walking it on that pallet. And that pallet didn't even sit perfectly flat on concrete, which means we weren't even fighting probably that much friction, really. She's girthy. She's a thick one. She's gonna pump like she ain't no chump. She gonna make air like there's 10 compressors over there. She is guaranteed to produce way more air than we'll probably ever need. However, when setting up this shop, I told you I wanted to do it right, do it tight from the start. So having that big compressor, having our big air line here, as y'all can see, I went with the big old threads and couplers and all this. Everything here can flow like over 35 CFM or something like that, which is a lot. Anyhow, we are gonna be set up good once we get that sucker really set up there. And that's really the first time I've shoved around on that thing and that I can remember. I was impressed. She took my breath away. Back in the shop, we're gonna keep rocking and rolling. I'm gonna weld our little stubbies on here. We're probably gonna have to flap attack a little bit of that red paint off there, or primer, whatever it is. I don't think this is gonna go very well, but I am gonna try just welding and seeing what happens. I don't think it'll do good though. Actually, it did just fine. I don't know if I've ever welded on this stuff, so I didn't know if it was weldable or not. Part of me thought it may be, since you weld it up to build buildings with. I need to turn our heat down just a little bit. She's kind of blowing through, but something just little like that's good enough. That's gonna make us a lot faster not having a flap attack each side. On these, I'll probably do a weld on the front, flip it over, do a weld on the back. Weld it, flip it in reverse, set. You remember freaking thing yet? Now listen, we got all these to weld up. It's a lot. I ain't trying to do nothing special. Whatever it takes to just weld across there, just kind of wiggling back and forth. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. If it burns together and holds together, it's good enough for what it's gonna do. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-doo. My, oh my, oh my. So on production on these, I'm kind of squaring two up. And I realized full welding both sides of them is honestly just a waste of weld. We're not gonna have that much pressure, so I started doing about half a weld on each side. Just half. Means we're saving half our material as far as welding goes, and half our time. I think it's still gonna full hold it. Boom, boom, bang, bong. Hit your 4 welds. Flip that baby over. Then we'll weld the inside. That way your welds are staggered. For maximum half strength. I just been cranking these out. Looks like some bugs were having them a party inside this one. Y'all come down to the mud pit. We're just splashing around. It's a good time, y'all. We came up a couple inches short. Story of my life. Now, I just miscalculated in our mathematicals and forgot 2 nubbies. Slick Fitty and Wild Bill come to do some welding. Get our table cleared up, and now all of our parts we've been working on, well, it's time to put them together. Which means we need our big old upright. Probably weld our pieces to it. And I'd kind of figured out my spacing here. From the bottom, we need to mark up 20 inch, 36 inch, 51 inch, 63 inch. 20 inch, 36, 51, and 63. Ka-chow. We're gonna start with our biggest one on bottom. I'm gonna flip it to the back side where this opening is, because we're gonna weld this side to that. That way it kind of boxes it. Should give it a little more strength, even though I'm not quite sure it needs it. We'll mark halfway, which for this one was 20 inches. We can take that, and we can take our square, and this is 4 inches, so we're going to our 2-inch mark. Line that mark up with our 2-inch mark on here, and we should be square and centered. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing right there. Tacker on the back side. Oh, I went above my line about 1/8 of an inch for some reason. So we'll redo that one. That's better. After tacking that, just come down to the bottom side. We'll weld that right on. This stuff is thin enough that it don't take a whole lot of heat. You just gotta get you in a little groove pattern, little groove thing. The weld on bottom, the weld on top. I think that should be plenty strong. May even be a little overkill. Make sure to grab the proper one here, because one of our 3 inches is a 40 incher, which is this one. Now I get to just basically repeat the same process. Mark center, square it up, weld it on. Now just go down through there and get all them welded on there. She was welding pretty decent. And that gets you all of your arms. Next step, the base. All we're doing there is clamping her to hold her down, because that end is a little heavier. And then mark center, line them up. Check your square on one side, zap it. Some of y'all ask sometimes, since this corner was rounded, there's a little bit of a gap there. So on like something like this, I'm gonna concentrate my wire on this side, on that little rounded edge. And as it pedals up, I'm gonna just slowly swoop up, kissing this edge. And cause that's thin edge floating out there, as soon as it hits it, it wants to burn in. And it just kind of fills that whole thing up with a nice weld. It ends up laying pretty flush down there. I shouldn't touch that because it's probably hot. And I know a thing or two about getting my hand hot, especially welding. Whoa! And on this, we're just gonna weld front and back. I don't think we'll have to do the sides. It'll hold or it won't. And that one can cool for a second. And when you get done, you'll have something that stands about like so. I think this is gonna work out good. That's a lot of racks. And oh yeah, I'm an overachiever. I made too many of these. Too many. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, will you hold metal for me? Now we just got to decide, like I said, how far in between these things do we want to go here? Because now we can, boom, tie that together down there, one across the top, tack, tack, rack, crack. Little tacky, tacky, then we'll have a racky, racky. I kind of like where it is right now. That's got to be close to 5 foot. That's real close, outside to outside, 61 inches right there. So maybe we'll go 5 foot with it. That's 5.5 inches, so factor that side, that's 11 inches. Minus your 11 from your 60 inches, that makes up 5 foot. we need to cut our supports at 49 inches. We got plenty of 3-inch. Ooh, what about our 4-inch? We could use that across the top. Oh, so close. I said 49. We've got about 48 3/4, maybe 11/16. I think we can sacrifice a 1/4 inch. She's a hot mama. Been sitting out in that sun. For the bottom, we'll just stick with our 4-inch because we got a lot of it. Trimmed this piece down. Got her centered up. Pretty square there. A few taps and that's better. We're close right there. Fairly center. Pretty stinking square that way. Close my eyes just then. Good? Good. It's a little tricky by yourself. Now with that tacked up there, we're not matching up with that as good as we should be. That's all right, my friends, because I've got this thing called a ratchet strap. I can squeeze it and get it there, but I can't squeeze it, hold it there, and then weld it myself. You ain't gotta be lonely. At fabricatorsonly.com, we got plenty of ratchets for you to use and abuse however you see fit. So if you're in your shop all by your lonesome, head to fabricatorsonly.com. All right, let's check her with our square since we pulled on it. Still good. Not as good. Better. So she's got a hair tweak to her. Nothing crazy though. Ain't gonna act like she's absolutely perfect. I definitely think she's good enough to hold some metal in a junkyard. Slap a few welds on her, and that baby is GUD. She's good to go. About perfect timing. Chance just hollered at me and said he's about ready to fire up this old compressor out here. There she goes. Thing's pretty quiet for the size of it. We're definitely leaking air right in here. What we got going on here? I see we got a Phillips down in here. This should be our pressure switch, and that should be our off to be able to kill it. And I flipped that, and that did us no good. And then I couldn't tell, it was too loud. I couldn't tell where we were actually leaking air at. Maybe around this sucker. I'm gonna steal one of your screwdrivers here if you don't mind. I'll get this cover off and see what's going on in here. So that's it. I wonder what that does. So looking at this, I kind of realized we don't have an air leak. It was that this piece looked bent. This was kind of cockeyed over, so I kind of straightened it up. And then that has a little lever that when you flip this, pushes that little valve stem, almost style valve to bleed off air. And I kind of turned on this. I don't know if I did this good or not, but it is working now. So we'll take that as a victory. Dang, it even tells you your oil pressure. I don't think it's gonna shake our pallet around. They don't seem to be acting too wild, too buck nasty on us. I borrowed their meter here. It's running at about 36.5 amps. I guess she's set to about $1, I don't know, 60, 65-ish. All right, we're holding air pressure. Of course, we got our outlet right there. So now we're good to be able to plumb this sucker in. Come on, baby. We got air. Come on. I'm excited, guys, having that big sucker hooked up. When it was running, I should have came in here and seen how much we could hear it out there. And I was so excited I forgot. All right, Feel like we're finally making some progress today with this thing full welded, that air chugging and a pumping. Let's see if we can set this baby in place. Did you finally wake up from your nap? Did you wake up from your nap? Let's get the little cart that could. She was a strong little cart. Aha! Woo! 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 Yo! Careful now. We bumped that fender earlier, we were okay. We dumped this on that car, we may do a little damage. She does rock a little bit, not sure why. Oh, I was about to bust out the backwards moonwalk with the Steve Irwins on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a cliff down there to ramp. All right. She did pretty good. No! Careful. Yeah. She clears our thingy. I'm determined to drop this thing. I'm okay. Maybe we just do something like that right there. Or we could bring it down along this wall and make down here like a little metal storage area. This is the hard part. It's always deciding the layout and what do we do. Now I overthought it and I kind of stared at it and I pictured how we could arrange this or arrange that. And I think we're going to leave her where she's at. One thing I did not consider is the fact that this concrete slopes. So this baby's sitting at an angle now. So instead of 0 degrees, she's about 1, 2.5 degrees. Which apparently is a lot more than a 1/2 inch. Because I just put 1/2 inch plate underneath them. And that did not do the trick. Apparently it needs quite a bit. 1/2 inch plate, 2 pieces of 3/8 stacked. And that gets us pretty darn happy there. We'll take that. And I think our shim will be okay. We could adjust that or make legs adjustable, but if we ever want to move this thing, we're just gonna leave it like that for now. And we want to try to halfway sort our middle maybe. On the front side stuff we think we're more likely to use, on the back side more likely not. Big stuff will pile in down on the bottom. Same thing, more likely to use versus not. And a lot of the big stuff we'll probably never use. However, if you ever need some of that big old heavy I-beam and stuff and you gotta go buy it, you're gonna be happy you have that scrap. So what I'm saying is, ooh, those are long. Bag them and tag them, boys. Let's start stacking. Oh! Somebody put a mower of the lawn right in the way. Get my skid steer on it, and the time it took me to find the ratchet strap, hook it on, back into our rack, knock it off of our shib plates we just installed. I definitely could have just moved the mower and shoved this out of our way. But now, because we're almost through the day, we're gonna work harder, not smarter. We better just kill that before somebody gets hurt. Gosh darn her, knocked her clean off there, didn't they? Woo! Ha, 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 ha! Ha, 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 ha! You want some of this? Yeah. There's no other way. There is but one way. Hard work, dedication, perseverance. Yeah. If only there was another way. I am the way. Puddin, skid steer, corner. The hard way keeps you humble, grateful, thankful. We're just getting started here. We pick that up and slide it down. I don't know we're gonna clear that. We're gonna try. Drive in the fork truck here. We don't want to knock it off the shims now. Ooh, we're close. Grab your closest hammer. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Move her to the back now, y'all. One booty smack this time. One squat, big push. Yeah. 2 squat, big push. Yeah. Freeze. You damn near broke the wall. Know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Some of this heavier stuff, but bigger, will probably, oh, I meant to weld some pegs on the front. That beam hit me a minute ago, sliced me right across the back of the ankle there. Not quite deep enough to cut the skin. I knew we were gonna be moving heavy stuff. That's why I was rocking the steel toes / ankle protectors. All right, what do we want to do next here? Yeah. Yeah. Shoo-wee! Hard work brings good smells. Ugh. Put it on the rear with the I-beam. Yeah! Got my dang bazooka here. Call me Bazooka Joe. Woo! That bazooka's heavy. That's our pipe we use for C-notching material for just the actual baby notch. Good thing I've been chugging that water today. Those are probably too short. Maybe just right. That fits, it ships. What even are those? Why do we need them? I don't know. They're freaking heavy, which means they're heavy duty. Like 1/2 inch plate to 3/8 square tubing. I always thought with those holes in it, it'd make a cool set of table legs if someone needed to fab up a welding table or something. And oh yeah, I got them for free 99, so we're just gonna hoard them. I don't think we'll need to build a welding table anytime soon, but maybe like Slicky. He's trying to get a shop going at a new location down the road, a goal of his. Well, if he needs some bigger welding table legs or something. Go. Yeah. pain, no gain. You know what I mean? This is kids play. This type of work, all day. I do it all day. Woo! You wanna talk about do it all day? Grab this mama here, 1 inch thick, 1 inch by 4 inch. What could you possibly ever need that for? I don't know, but it was free 99. If we ever do need it, we're gonna be happy we have it. Keep telling you. In fact, a lot of this metal I got from the factory I used to work at. They had outside racks that had a bunch of random whatever, and it made it to a point where they decided all that was going to scrap, and they basically collapsed the thing. It was all over the ground. They said, if you can load it, you can take it. So for a few days, I loaded what I could and brought home what I could. That's how we end up with some stuff like this. And out of all this rusty metal, I can't say I've used a whole lot myself. We've used a bit, actually, thinking about it on the Datsun and stuff, we definitely did. Some of the strap stuff, 2 inch wide, 3 inch wide, 4 inch, comes in handy for sure. Woo, slice it, you got a quick gusset, plate, whatever. But like this stuff, a lot of the other stuff, I've actually given a lot away to buddies because they know I've got this little supply. And then when they need a little odd and end piece or this or that, yeah, no problem. I got it for free, so I just mark it up about, I don't know, 110% what it costs new, rust free up in the city. But I'm like, hey, you ain't got to drive, come over here. I'll mark it up and sell you it at a good deal. You ain't got to drive to the city. All right, here goes nothing. Good golly, that thing is hefty. Them corners are sharp. We got it. Ow. Yes, sir. Now we're not in the clear yet on racking and stacking metal, guys. We've got a little bit of a mess over here still. We got to address at some point. Obviously, we got what's left of our 4x4 stack and our C-purlins. And then on top of that, this metal I've stacked up back here when I'd cleaned up the place originally on stuff that was left here and whatnot. And a lot of this, I'll probably never do anything with, so it may be scrap, we'll see. I'm glad we started cleaning that back here. I just found all the material for our next rack. Dad, you asked me about T-post. I got you some, you better come get them, don't forget. You forget them, they're going to the scrap. Boy, don't make me tell you again. You hear me, Dad? If I gotta tell you twice, you ain't gonna like it. Just playing, I'm just playing, sorry, sir. Dad gonna show up here with his old belt. Show up, get his T-post and put a whooping on me. All right, we'll put the T-post there. Y'all can see how the rack's looking. I know it looks cluttered and overflowing, but that's okay. Because instead of all that sitting in a bunch of other locations, I'd rather it be consolidated to right here. Like I said, more than likely, we're not going to dig through this stuff very often. On the small chance we need it, boom. Some of this 4x4 we're going to use tomorrow. This last piece of C-purlin, this big stick we'll use. Then this C-purlin I think came with this place from when they originally added this shop on to the small shop. Those pieces of angle were left over from us adding on. I think I've got an idea for it. We may not end up using it. We'll see how it works out. And then this pipe that I was just carrying over. Between all that, we've got enough to build some tire racks, which we really need. By tire rack, I mean mainly wheel rack. I'd like to go have a lot of these tires broke off these. Be a good time to have our own tire machine. People's asking to offer it. I'm like, no, I never need them. And then I always drag home crap like this. So some of our wheels are rollers, which will keep the tires on. But other ones, I'd like to get stripped down to wheels because I'm just collecting wheels that we may need for future builds. So all that will become that tomorrow, I believe. And then I was going to show you our C channel here. I flipped them belly up, and that way they made little troughs. So our shorter pieces that can't reach on our rack, we can sit stuff like that down in there where it's easy to get to and pick through. What's crazy is it probably don't look like much progress to y'all, but not having all that metal over there, not having the huge pile right there, the back of the Lodestar being cleaned off, except them last 3 pieces I'm about to grab, is huge progress to me, because despite how it's looking out here, I hate the clutter. So we got to get her cleaned up, and we're making good progress on that. We'll be back on her in the morning, where we need to plumb in this compressor, but I don't know. We may be on the compressor, we may build a tire rack. Give me that dinosaur. What, you worn out already? We've been playing with the dinosaur. I actually had more time yesterday to work. My girls weren't home, so instead of going in, I stayed out here and worked some. Right here's what we're building. Look at that big unit. The seed purlin, like I said, was left here, and I decided to butt up 2 of them, obviously cut to the same length, and put us some welds down through there. That becomes our upright. Then for the base, more of a 4x4. We're spacing over 16 inches. That's about a foot wide, and then that leaves however much that is. Sure, it'd be nice to have some air around here. Put her up on the back side, flip it over. Oh man, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. I should have offset this way. I just jigged them up on the table the same way. Well, I didn't use a jig, but you know what I mean. So now when I stand that one there, I wanted that to be the outside. Now it's not gonna be on that one. We done welded her there, 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 and there. So changing it probably wouldn't be too easy. I do always say that's the good thing about metal. You mess it up, you can cut it off and try again. We're gonna flap attack that down. We'll turn that over where it's gonna be the new bottom of this piece. We'll offset it the correct way, re-weld it. You can't keep a good guy down. Now sure, we added probably 10 minutes worth of work, but it's worth it to lop that off there, weld it the correct way, and then this stand won't bug me for the rest of my life. The 2x6 C purlin, yes! It does fit in the Evolution, just barely. It literally takes everything it has. Now this end was kind of bent up, so I cut as much of it off as we could. And then we're gonna make these in between pieces 9 foot even. Our concrete's not perfect. Our C purlins ain't perfect, guaranteed. They're doing a little whoop-de-doo, and so is the concrete too. So, pretty low standards here. We're gonna lean this up against here, make sure it's at 90. Then we're just gonna set that down there. Let's not act like this ain't gonna just hold a bunch of weight and be okay. So we're just gonna set those at 90, and it bows in down there, I can already tell. But just quick, you know, 90, 90. And we'll try to jig or do the same down here, square it up down here, and it'll be good enough for what we're doing, guys. This is gonna be a big mama. When you're good, baby. For our runs, first one, the thing of C purlin we had, 20 footer or whatever, chop it up. Going 3 foot up, that way we can down here put some ones with tires on them probably. Tack it, we'll probably be good to go right there. We're gonna tack them up. And up next, just like everything else we've been doing, just cutting stuff to length and tacking it on. All this pipe I'd scrounged from out here. This is gonna make our next series of rungs. And it ain't gonna be nothing too special. So I'll check in with y'all once we get this baby about buttoned up here. She's tall. Hold that pipe. I just took some of her scrap and clamped it to it. That way it had a place to rest. And we measured on up through there and just said boop, 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 boop. I don't even know if that's gonna fit back there anywhere. She's full welded. She's big. Eee, doggy. Eee, Theo. You the doggy? Woo-hoo! We got it. We can't fit underneath our awning, but we got it. You know what I should have done? I should have brought all those pieces out here and constructed it underneath here, where then we just had to drag it around. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Watch out, Theo. Yeah. Move that. Lean it over, drag it under, roll it down, go off-roading, wiggle it into place. Sounds like a solid plan. All day long. We get this in here same way you eat an elephant. One bite at a time, baby. This part has me a little nervous. Oh, never mind. Not bad. Not bad. No. Careful. Scratch the paint. Good thing is, because of the height, it can't really flip over out of here. Just took it as far as I could get it before I accidentally ran off the concrete. Pulling that up there, what I'm hoping is those will slide on that plastic kind of easy, and just pull it down. I have to pull it down, probably re-stab the cart, and just keep crawling. Drag's decent, except we're grading our gravel, dragging it up. Dang it! You see, what we have here is a slight miscalculation, not communication. I measured from an inch or so over of our pipe there to the outside of the concrete over there, knowing we could sit on that. We could probably get away with 10 foot. I came into 9'8" to give us clearance. Only problem is that's outside to outside. Out in here, this being taller and hitting up there, man, we need to be inside to over there, which means even though it looks fairly close, it may not fit. And if it does, it's going to be tight. Holy cow, I think it's going to clear. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. I mean, just touches it. And down here, just touches it. And if obviously there's wheels here, you could pull that off if we needed to get in here to service this for whatever reason. Because that is your blower access. Where were you, girly? I needed help. Were you in there being moody? Oh, you gonna get it, Theo?
No, I'm gonna run away from it. He like banged the wall.
Theo is trying to protect you. He's like, I'll get it. All day. I can do this stuff all day. Telling y'all that like I mean it. I'm telling myself that because I'm trying to hype myself up, guys. Between all that crap I've carried yesterday and the stuff I've been huffing around today, I'm experiencing this thing called muscle fatigue where my body's hurting and stuff's wanting to shut down. Kind of sad, really. Let's load up what we can load up. A lot of these wheels and tires that are flat, we need to load up in a truck. I've got a buddy with a tire machine who said he'll break them down for us. So let's get the ones put up that we can get put up, and then maybe we'll load up what needs hauled to my buddy. Get a little more of that fatigue going, you know. These are our wheels and tires off the van. Be good for 8-lug rollers anyhow. Yeah. And a decent sized tire is why I built this bottom one so tall. We like that. Right here, one of my swap meet finds, set of C10 wheels. Look how beautiful this is. Boop! That's what I'm talking about. Curious as we keep setting those on there if it's gonna spread it too far open. If so, we can band a couple strong zip ties, it'll be fine. Up next, nice set of rallies for a 4-wheel drive unit. Yeah. Rack them and stack them, boys. Rack them and stack them. We got a little sorting going on. These are Steelies from like a early 50 Chevy. We'll probably give those to old truck guy. He'll use them before we ever do. Up here, some more 6-lug Steelies for our Chevrolets. Them are the wide ones. And those are Steelies. Those aren't rallies. Our Torola factory wheels, they do not fit in here. I was hoping they would. For now, we'll just sit them like that. That's fine. Boy, I'm struggling today, and it ain't even hot yet. Actually, half feels good underneath here. Now, out in the yard, I'm doing the wheel and tire sort, trying to figure out what's what, where's where, and who's who. We'll take a break from that sorting. We've got a little bit of a collection over here. Right here, nice little set of S10 wheel. Small Chevrolet pattern, I mean. Good tires. They're mismatched. Got them from the salvage yard. Perfect for rollers if we need to go snatch one up. These need to go back to Slick. Those we'll probably give to Mortsky. That's the spare for the Travelall. These came off the Ranchero, and I need to figure out what we're gonna do with them. Because obviously we got wheels on there now. So these probably just need to go back to D&H Classics. Get it, girls? Hot Rod just yelled, hit it with the Mortsky Special. How do you do the Mortsky Special? Is that a dance? What do? You just get grumpy? That's the Mortsky Special dance. Whew, them girls are over there beating the heat, swimming. Not old Dad. He's over here getting after it. I didn't figure y'all want to watch me sort any more wheels and tires, so first load is loaded. Picked quite a bit, probably about 16 or so. Now out here, kind of gathered trash. I know we need to be plumbing in the air, but it kind of just made it to a point where I decided to clean up the junkyard. Let's just get her dead when we can get her done. UV's 11. That's why it's taking it out of me today. Out there roasting. We're probably gonna grab our crane and bring it on inside. I think I've finally decided where I want to mount it. And then other than that, I'm gonna use our little skid steer here and get some of this other crap out the way. She got a little rattle to her. She rattles a lot less than our skid steer though. Not a fan of this sucker being a single joystick. For some reason, I always imagined you'd have two, but it makes sense that one's for your bucket and everything. Basically like playing the claw machine where you put in a couple quarters and win an animal. This is like the fun guy version. Yeah, I decided we better seize our opportunity and use that, because like that generator we stripped out of the old camper, that sucker's heavy. I did talk to my scrap metal guy yesterday. He said as soon as it dries up enough he can get his trailer out the backyard, he'll come see me. More than likely we ain't gonna have the skid steer at that point, so I'm trying to think ahead here for loading this heavy stuff. If we get it up here on the concrete on one of our carts, then when he shows up, we can roll a cherry picker out here and pick that sucker up, put it right in this trailer. Not exactly what I had in mind. More like that there. That ain't near as heavy as that generator. This is almost as easy as using the tow roller. I'm gonna keep just doing a little rearranging, cleaning real quick, and it ain't no fun to listen to just clackety diesel and watch an inexperienced driver not know how to drive. So let me get this baby tuned up. You may have had the skid steer. That's still a lot of work. Whew. Man, oh man, in and out. Resticking our spike in and out of the forks, depending on if we needed to pick something up or push. I moved the orange one over, wheel hop Wilma over, and here's my boo-boo. Wheel hop Wilma, she took our first hit. I was pushing right there and it popped up off, and boom, I KO'd this piece of grill. Those pieces are interchangeable. I'm not happy about it, but you know what? This is the fender that the shipper wiped out anyhow, so at least it matches now. Got blend that patina, you know. Sometimes you just gotta knock a dent in her. Wheel hop Wilma's future frame. We're going 1-for-1 on the dually swap, as in the camper used to sit here, so we're putting that one there. I know I told y'all we were gonna build that thing this year, but after seeing how well the Model A was not received because people said all we did was throw money at it, we've got the semi wheels that I bought 2+ years ago now. The Cummins I bought 2+ years ago, and then I bought a 6-speed for it last year, and all this stuff is going to be like ready to go. My brother-in-law is a diesel mechanic. Him and his shop are the ones taking care of it. They're hooking me up. I'm getting like the best family discount you could imagine, basically paying at price for parts, and then I don't know how they're making any money on labor, but anyhow, whenever I build that and people see big shiny wheels, a fresh Cummins, and then a 6-speed, they're, all he did was spend money. Even though it just took me, you know, 3+ years of gathering the vehicle, the chassis, and saving up so I could really make it what I wanted. So we're putting that one on the back burner. I am ready to build some more budget friendly and like mini truck stuff too anyhow, so that's the other reason. I am itching to get on that stout, even though we've got a few things loaded in the barrel ready to go as soon as we can get this chaos situated. This looks a lot better than the mess we had, especially once we get that scrap hauled off, those hauled off. We may get rid of the big box truck. I don't, other than using that lift gate occasionally around here to be able to pick stuff up and set it down, I don't think we'll ever use that big sucker again. So I may need to find a new home for it. I need to get Kenny his 61, get that bubble top out of here. And then some of these other ones, they're gonna start going away just as we start getting them in the shop, I mean, and starting to build on them and cutting on them and everything else. We gotta keep this tidy, because if we don't, it'll become a mess over the period of years and we'll be in bad shape. I'm liking how it's looking now. All day. Good morning. All right, folks, all I did was finish cleaning up our mess around here, a little more down around there. Got them wheels and tires hauled off, and some of our stuff, these shelves came free with the place, the ones we've had inside and everything. I think I got 4 of them. So this one we had, boom, perfect for out here. Like I said, it's looking a lot better. This morning, when I'm nice and fresh and I got at least 2 brain cells working, we are gonna start to plumb in our air. Actually, we need to get some air up in here. So a couple things though. One, obviously we got to penetrate the wall from out there into here. 2, the air to tie onto is actually up in the loft. 3, it's up there because I actually have like a little dryer you got to plug in that separates water, that I got a couple years ago, same time I got the compressor. So it's just been sitting. We're actually going to get it hooked up. But 4, I planned on running it through this first. Obviously we don't want this one that we need to just reach up there and drain up in the loft. We want it where we can get to it down here. So I think we're going to come over right around this Datsun parking sign and try to knock a hole. We'll come in from back there into that thing, and then when we come out it, whoop, we can go straight up, penetrate that bottom of the wood right there, easy peasy, and we'll be pretty close to where we need to be. I don't have a long drill bit. That's why this is going to get a little funky. Through that's the easy part. Just a little too short. I was hoping we could punch that across to the metal and then go out there and drill it. Oh, it made a hole. I didn't know I had a longer one of these. I was about to whip the combo extension kit and duct tape all that together and send it through that wall. Good morning, handsome. Doo-doo. Now, where is our hole? I think that's it right there. Hey-o. Whoop. Direct hit. Now that we got a way through the building, we just got to connect everything into the building. Now y'all see me use this style stuff throughout the whole shop. It's aluminum lined. You can see the fitting double O-ring seals. Then it uses a little collet and this nut as a keeper retainer. I love this system. I haven't had any leaks out of it, and if you need to service it or like change something, you can literally just boop, pop it apart. It's awesome. Right here we're going short piece. Work that sucker in there, flares it a little bit, and it cuts a bevel where it don't nick up your O-rings. And with that, you're ready to go together. Probably won't hurt to have a little loopy-doop on it. You gotta like knock it on there with our hammer. You don't gotta smoke those things to Alabama. Like I said, they're just kind of grabbing it, keeping it from slipping off there. We did a stubby because we're adding a T. That way this can go out, and we're gonna put an outlet out here somewhere for air, just so we have one, just in case. Depending on how fast I get the rest of this plumbing done and how much material we have left over, depends on how far we'll run it or where we'll put it out here. May not be enough. Here at Puddins Plumbing, I've been plumbing for years. If you need me to straighten out your line, just give me a call. I'll come right over. Now luckily I was real smart and I put this big old tire rack right in our way before we actually plumbed our air. That was a solid move. Alright, once you wrangle her through, she may get a little squirrely on you. Just go a little Steve Irwin on it, tackle it, show it who's boss, but be kind to it. You don't want to hurt it. You just want to let it know, hey, I'm here, I've got you, it's going to be okay. See that? See, now that it's relaxed, now to put a little stank on it, we're going to be able to get that right where we need it. See, now we should be able to zip tie it down there along that, and looky there. Maybe I can show you the camera. Looky there. Now we're gonna leave a little slack on this where if this does start to walk on us, don't just pull it tight immediately. A little bit of lubricant there. Goes right on, lines right up, almost like we knew what we were doing. A few zip ties down along the way. We're ready to hit to the other side. I don't think we're gonna be able to swoop up into that. We're gonna have to cut a 90 in here. You call me Double Wrench Willie. With our 90 on, we're ready to stab through the wall. Down here, I actually added a T. What I'm hoping is what water does start coming through there, I will hit that, it'll go down. Got a drain valve over there. We got a drain before our water catch, before our air dryer. So every once in a while, you just crack that sucker open, spray the water out. I think it'll work. If it don't, we would have always thought it should have. Ain't that right? Direct hit. Connected her out there, put a 90 right there. Now we got to go to some little stubbies to get connected. And for that, I'm not convinced I don't have like a little summertime cold going on or something, the way I've been feeling. Holding that with the locking pliers seemed to work good, just don't go too crazy on it. Our regulator and water traps here, inlet, outlet, slapped our gauge on. She should be ready to mount up. Question is, can we get all this on here? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're mounted. Now it's mounted. Let's head up top. Little Model A interior. Got old Slicks wheels here. Those are going on the fire turd soon. Here's old Trusty. See the oil coming out of there? Like maybe something broke in there, rings or whatever, however it works, and bypassing oil, pumping it out now. This was my rig together setup. Feed in 3/4 inch quick connect up to this stuff. Oh, just ripped her out the outlet. Did not mean to do that. Seen a comment saying that Harbor Freight sells a cheap enough pump. We might have to do a little fixing on her. Now our tee up here's where we're headed. Whoop, drawing a moan. Now here's the corner we're coming up towards. We got a 2x6 underneath here, so we need to step over to clear it. About like so, should be perfect. Come on. Oh yeah. Like it's supposed to be there or something. I'm gonna just do a couple of zip ties there and run that baby up. Hides are pretty nice. Of course, everything's all black, so she blends pretty good and just kind of disappears. I told y'all I have a real deal dryer for this thing. Here it is, compressed air dryer. I ain't got a clue which one's the inlet, which one's the outlet. She's like German or something, so it don't say. Right there we got our 120, which that's a dedicated circuit for this. We've got a drain line, so if it's gonna drain, it probably needs to be higher than what it is where it can go over that edge. And or we need to drill a hole. Be a lot easier just go through that wall one time. Get on up in here, Wasp. Let's go. Battle Royale, I'm ready, bucko. It kind of at me like he was about it. I don't think so. Not today, Junior. So, do we need to build a stand for this to rest on? And what are we gonna build the stand out of? We're gonna go 16 inches wide by 22 inches long. Y'all know I ain't no carpenter, but we better get them old safety glasses on, cause it's go time, baby. Digging through our add-on over there, and this is a scrap wood I found, so it's what we're gonna make work. 3 inches between them. Take that away, what I say, 21? Is that what I said? All right, we're gonna go with it. So we're gonna cut these ones to 18. Woo, that piece is just long enough. I know you're screaming. You can't screw that, it's gonna split. It's gonna fall apart. If your child walks up there, she will die. I ain't got no air right now, guys, so we can't use my nailer. I could rig up the air just good enough to nail this thing, but let's be honest. It's gonna sit up there with that little bit of weight on it. She's gonna be fine. Let's need not overcomplicate what need not overcomplicated. I think Benjamin Washington said that. Think she'll hold. Besides that, she is looking pretty good. Top quality work there. Now, next, simply put that there. Little trace. Yeah, we made the state of Oklahoma. I went like through our scraps. This board was already ripped over there in the scraps. Pert near perfect, probably 1/8 inch to 3/16 short, but that's good. We'll take it. Just like Mortsky doing chassis work, close enough. 1/4 inch ain't nothing. Hell, I'm basically a trim carpenter at this point. Fix that baby up pallet style. What's pallet style, you ask? Well, when you don't cut stuff the proper lengths and you're gonna end up with a gap, just put that gap in the middle of it. Kind of pallet style. Puddins patented pallet style. Say it fast. Puddins patented pallet style. Puddins patented pallet style. Oh, beautiful. We're gonna be good to go there. There goes our drain. And we'll plug that baby in. Surprisingly enough, I did keep the manual for this thing, and this top one's our inlet. So with that, we just need to run over here to here, and this out to that. Except one thing, we're actually gonna do a couple T's on here, and in between them we're putting a ball valve. And what we're doing is we're creating a bypass. So if this goes down, I'm sure there's a valve in here that stops the airflow, And if not, you're still trying to go through all that, right here you open the sucker up, then you're getting it straight from there to there, not going through this. It's a little toasty up here, down to our last fitting here. Then we'll be coming up over. Coop pulled up though. Well, y'all can't see because of sunlight. Old truck guy's here. Theo's pulling real good security, let him walk right by. If we can wipe all the dirty sweat off that, we are set up. Pretty happy with that. Front of the shirt, absolutely soaked. I'm sure the back is too. My shorts, pretty sure we could wring them out. Check the temperature, it's only 90 degrees up here. And if you're wondering why old truck guy here is here, well, that's because I decided to part ways with a couple things. Both our little kind of box trailers. Well, this one ain't really a box. It's kind of close though. This has a wheelbase that should work with kind of a long bed mini truck. And that don't mean it's gonna be perfect. You may still have to modify her some, but if you ain't got a long bed, you're gonna be in bad shape. And we had bought it, but realistically, I got so many other actual box trucks, I don't think we'll do anything with it. And this one kind of hurts me to get rid of, because boy, it sure is sweet. And if there's like a 46 Chevy that was kind of color matched in front of that, sure would look good. But again, I don't think we'll ever do it. Sometimes you just dream a little too big. With all that being said, y'all know old truck guy deals with people. He deals with selling and everything like that, which I do not. So if you're interested in these, y'all be sure to hit him up and y'all can work out a deal. Shoo-wee! Who are you, buddy?
We gave her the VIP treatment.
You decided to get rid of the old locking pliers, huh?
We still have them in case of emergencies. This is kind of the ER kit. We got a little bit of everything here.
Loading stuff with old truck guy, you may walk away from it and you may not. I wasn't gonna record this, but all the death-defying experiences we're having right now, I better kick the camera on. I was like, we're only winching a trailer up on a trailer. How complicated could it get?
Just like to keep it exciting. It makes it fun.
Bring her on down. Bring her on down. I'm a nice guy. I'm gonna throw a pair of titties in with this deal. Right there, we got the old titty products from the old Dayton, Ohio. When you get some of that puddins.fab.shop lubricant on that bad boy, she ain't spinning very good. Lube up them old titties. I'm not convinced we're gonna have enough room to get that one on there, but we're gonna dang sure try. We can pick that one up over the box, probably move it forward if we need to. And if it fits, it ships. That little bobtail on that one's helping pert near even. All right, here's our other one. I'm gonna go ahead and lube these up for him. That way we can test our lube. Matching pair, same size and everything. One's usually a little bigger than the other. Oh, found that tailgate. Give me that other one, I'm gonna lube it up.
Let her soak on the way home.
Yeah, let me know if it helps.
Hit a little on that side. Oh yeah, looby dooby, baby.
Let her lube you up and let's see if it breaks it free so we can see what kind of stuff we're working with here.
Thanks again for the taco boy.
No problem. There they go. Can't have a buddy come to town without treating them to a few tacos from the taco boy. All right, back to our plumbing. Up top, we're happy. The last problem we're gonna have is down here where we teed off right by the compressor itself. So for this tee, I'm gonna run her down, stub her out this way, and I'm just gonna set a block here, but I don't want to permanently mount that. That's good enough. Now we can get air right there if we need to, and boom, we got our drain valve. So we got this to catch water, that to catch water, water separators to catch water, then we got the dryer. Wham, bam, pow. Thank you, ma'am. I think we're ready to put some air to this sucker. We'll do that with opening our ball valve there. We should start seeing some pressure drop over here. Not too much. Yep, we got air. We got air up in here. We can also use that to clean off our piece of concrete there. And inside here we're reading nothing, so I don't know if that's just because of our regulator. Oh, there we go. Something's happening. There we go. I don't know if y'all could hear that or not, but I'm pretty sure that sucker kicked on. I don't know what we should tune her at. Right now we're gonna just go right there, a little over 90. We got air again. Here's old Leaky Joe. Maybe it didn't kick on. I'd like for it to kick on where we can hear how loud it's going to be in the shop. It's on auto. This is here though, but I don't think they pulled it. So where did this come from? Old daddy long legs. Well, she's in there. Just set that up there. Not sure what that goes to. And up here, our bypass is not open. We had air down there, so that means we probably would have been okay without a bypass, but their diagram showed having one, so we did it. So let's see how this works. It don't. Probably help if the circuit breaker's on. Try again. Oh, she kicked on already. Uh-oh. That did not sound good. I have no clue what to do with any of this. Fan's running. Meh. Maybe I'll do a little reading on it. For now, I'm just gonna let it run and see what it does. As it does that, I got plenty of mess in here to clean up, guys. Got all our scrap metal I need to get on out of here. More mess out there to clean up that y'all don't want to watch any more of. Whoa! Something up there was pipping and a popping. I'm gonna slap a little silicone around where we stubbed through the walls over here. And I'm gonna load up some wheels and tires, put these ones back, you know, all the fun stuff we've been doing. Yeah. 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 Dang you, camera, heat. It's supposed to be recording through the jump pack in the old box truck here, the old Mazda. The old Mazda. Running custom hood scoop right now. Custom hood scoop. Don't let off the idle or she dies. Stepped in poo-poo. Now you can die. Getting our money's worth out of that row right there. Stuff just blew in the shop. Well, hey, at least we can hear how quiet it is. Sound like something up in the loft. Maybe we had a bad connection. Down here, we can see how quiet the compressor is. Pretty dang quiet. I can hear it because I'm listening. I'm not sure the camera's gonna actually pick it up though, which is exactly what we want. Hot up there. Guys, I think that connection that popped apart, I don't think I ever tightened it. I think I just pushed it together because the tubing, it'll get all, you know, bit up from the little collet thing, and that one was not bit up at all. So I think I just forgot to tighten one. So she was holding on with a hope and a prayer. Let's open her up again and see what happens. Come on. Yeah, I ain't in the mood. I fight a wasp right now for sure. Got all of our off-road machines together there. Guess the half-all's having some Mordski luck. It may need a starter. Fired up the old boot scooting Yukon. That G80 rear locker is gonna have to work because it's a little muddy soft there. Good morning, good morning. Here we go, baby. Last push. Saturday morning, Hot Rod's got a volleyball game. I think it's in a few hours. I gotta pick up a friend from the airport in the city, but I've not gave up hope on getting more work done. Y'all may have noticed yesterday I threw the crane in here. I like the crane, I just didn't know where I wanted to put the crane, and after kind of scratching my head and thinking about it, I think right here in the center would be great. They'll let you swing this way, get something from this side or that bay. This car's getting moved soon enough when we start working on it, so you could also pull something in this side and then kind of back up this way and favor it this side. So let's get this old crane mounted. Cranes are way more important than fire extinguishers. Step one, a little maintenance here. That's one of our pivot points on this sucker. A little scrubbing, a little leaven. And then a little dollop of grease. I was gonna try to do this yesterday after I got back from getting lags and stuff. If I'm being honest, I'm hurting so bad and so worn out. I was actually scared to try to handle all this. For my safety, I don't need to be dropping none of that heavy stuff on me. It's very precisely eagle eye that. Got some real small 3/4 inch holes to do here. Pretty deep concrete right there. We're going to use some epoxy or whatever this is down in there. She's code compliant. With high strength and fast cure, she's perfect for what we need. Looky there. Y'all see that? We know there's a void underneath through the dirt because we're sucking through there and pulling that from over there. Oh man, we may just hit rebar. Yep, we did. Last hole to drill too. I'm always amazed at how well those things just go through that concrete like butter. Let's get our epoxy mixed up here. There we go. Last hole here. Talk about a forearm workout. Get you some of that Super Gripper Deluxe right there. Yeah, I think we ran out on the last hole. Just perfect though, I can see it. I said to fill it up about 3/4 of an inch full. Shoo, I better get a real hammer or we're gonna be there for a minute. Take your anchor, put your washer on there, get your nut started, put her into place, smack her in. That one ain't going for some reason. It's weird, it drilled out perfectly fine. Maybe it's in there wedged and starting to hit a piece of rebar or something. A few more swing of the hammers and they're all in. Except for rebar Ricky. That one I got. Check this out. Pretty well sitting dead nuts on 90 degrees. And we were pretty close right there too. Cut that one down, and then maybe you seen I just took some 1/2-inch washers and made a stack. Put that underneath there because there's a pretty big edge. However, we're like perfect and perfect. So when we tighten that one down, we don't want it to sink it or mess it up none. Uh-oh. It may not even catch. It may not got down far enough. Nope, it didn't, did it? Dang it. So apparently that epoxy had got in there and just set up really hard. And that's why I couldn't knock that down in there. Drilled that epoxy out and that sucker dropped right in and she's tightened up good. I mean, we are dead on the money. The old chop, it was probably off a degree or 12. But that happy, I noticed that these are loose, which means they've never been tight. I don't really think it's that big of a deal though. I'll give her a little bit like so. I mean, they ain't just gonna fall off there or nothing. Mainly, I just wanted a reason to smell that looby dooby again because it smells so good. Hey, Ma, Puddin's out there sniffing the looby dooby again. Give me a reason to hose down all of it. What I don't know is how heavy is this sucker? Heavy. This is what I'm worried about. We can take it apart there. I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. But even if we take it apart there, then I go to sit it up there. Unless I have someone to hold that out there, I ain't gonna be able to get that started by myself. Again, I think it's one of them things where we may figure out how to do it, or that beam may flip off there, hit us in the chin and knock us off a ladder and kill us. All right, y'all talked me into it. Really twisted my arm there. I mean, really, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Hey, this ain't too bad. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Got one bolt in the thing. Maybe if I can half hold it. Locking pliers may be our friends. Nom 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 nom. Dang, y'all can't even see my little eyeball I drew on there. Thinking our head or trolley, I'm gonna push it all the way back. We want as much weight back here as possible. That'll help us balance. So we'll take these ones and lock this into place. Hey, Theo, come grab a side, buddy. I need you. All right, or just roll your eyes at me, that's fine. Oh, I mean, it's there. Ain't the heaviest thing ever. I just dropped the nut and I can't get to my locking pliers. Woo! The ladder shifted off the edge of our concrete there, so now it's perfectly unlevel. Oh yeah, woo! Got a couple threads started. Oh, dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I got the wrong bolt hole started. There we go. Proper alignment, 3 bolts in. Guys, we did very good on this. I can tell because if I barely push on it, it just slowly keeps going kind of both ways, but it don't just favor away. We're pretty true. All right, here we go. Little combo action. Testing out our new shop air and our crane. Put her to the test. Got all that weight out on the end of that. So I've seen the crane bounce a little bit. But hey, hey! Our old 350, she's up in the air. This thing's actually only rated at 100 pounds from the company. Now we've picked up all kinds of stuff way more than 100 pounds, and we're gonna continue to press our luck with it, because I guarantee you that old 350 weighs more than 100 pounds. Now look, cherry picker's free. Flip that baby up, roll it right out. Once we get our scrap hauled off, this would be out of the way. Boom, right around here, we can tuck our cherry picker if we want. It's out of our way. No more taking up floor space in the shop. Woo-hoo-hoo! I love it when a plan starts to come together. And this has been a plan for a very long time, guys. I've been dreaming big for a very long time. And I just had this moment where I want to say thank you, guys. You know, I'm very thankful for everything we have going on here. The continued support from you guys to keep this growing to what it's become. And I've about got the place how I really want it. We got a little more fencing to do for some cattle I'd like to get and whatnot, but we are so close to completion on this shop and everything. And you guys showing up, watching the videos time and time again, you know, telling your friends and family about it, buying the merchandise, all of that over these last few years has helped us grow to this point this rapidly. Anyways, thank you guys. I'm on the Instagrammer, I'm on the Patreon, I'm on the Facebooker. I'm trying to give you a preview of what's coming up, but I don't really know what's coming up. So I will see you guys next time. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. I'll see you guys in the next one.